Welcome to the Stay Sharp Podcast, starring Houston Curtis. Hello everyone, I'm Houston Curtis. Welcome to the very first episode of my new Stay Sharp Podcast, where I'll be speaking to the sharpest superstars from all walks of life who became the best in the world at what they do. They'll be sharing incredible stories, tips, tricks, and life hacks designed to help you stay sharp too. Incredible. Today, I'm interviewing the man who inspired the best-selling book, Whale Hunt in the Desert. He's the VIP casino host to some of the biggest gamblers in the world, including Larry Flynt, Michael Jordan, and Montel Williams, to name a few. His name is Steve Sear, and his stories are more colorful than the bright lights of Sin City. Hey guys, this is Houston Curtis, and I am really honored to have a good friend of mine on the show today, Steve Sear. Now, he's going to tell you all about what he does.
Yeah, I met him because I was his casino host, so we should just full disclosure. But yeah, I met him because he was a gambler, and I took care of him. I was a host at the Hard Rock, I think, when we met, right?
Yeah.
Probably 02.
You hosted me for several casinos over the
02, 03, I think. Yeah.
But so he's the guy you call when you want to have a good time in Vegas and you got some money to spend. And he's going to give you some tips and tricks on that. But right now, I'm going to play a little word association game.
Okay.
All right, Steve. We have $40 between us.
Okay.
What casino are we at right now?
Could be Circus because the kids are watching the free shows, or maybe down on Fremont Street, the Four Queens, even the Horseshoe. Now you can play $2 blackjack, or we might be at Hooters, $3 blackjack.
Hooters wouldn't be so bad, right?
Yeah, no, exactly, especially for us. Yeah. So, okay, for $40, that's where we're at. And we're waiting to play until we see the cocktail waitress come by, so at least we get a couple beers for our $40.
I remember I went to Vegas long before I ever met you with a buddy who was always looking for the deals, right?
Okay.
And he finds a deal downtown, this lovely facility called the Gold Spike.
Oh, yeah, it's still there.
As I walked in, I noticed the sign said, "Locals welcome," and they were throwing a vagrant out as we were walking in. Penny slots.
Oh, man.
Gold Spike. Is that still there?
Yeah, but now it is no gaming. It's they've remodeled that whole area downtown, and it's a cool bar with like foosball and shuffleboard and cornhole, and we go there a lot just to hang out. A lot of college kids go there. It's a great bar just to hang out. No gaming anymore, but the Gold Spike is still there.
So tell me, what has been your trick for making it through this tough time with COVID? Because you count on people.
I'm very event driven. So just, the canceling of the NFL draft was huge for me, and March Madness. We have 151,000 hotel rooms, Houston and Vegas, right, and we got to fill them. And so, I need conventions too. SEMA, what's great is the companies will pay for my gamblers to come and go to the SEMA show, and they'll go to the SEMA for 2 or 3 hours, but the rest of the time they're gambling with me, and then I can comp their food and beverage. So conventions, the Vegas Golden Knights, that beautiful $1.5 billion stadium for the Raiders, we can't have fans in it. So for me to survive, I've been repping casinos in California. Usually if you're a California customer, I'm like, don't play in California, come here, because I can take you to Celine Dion and Blue Man Group, and we go to nightclubs and strip clubs. I don't have the fluff and the events. That's what separates Vegas from gambling in your hometown casino. Right. So I rep Viejas, so I've been sending players there. They have an adult-only tower. And then for Vegas, believe it or not, the low roller has kept me alive. The low roller, because look, the high roller and the stereotype, a lot of my six-figure players are older, and they're afraid. Okay, they didn't want to come yet because of health reasons.
Okay.
The low roller, say the guy that used to bring $2,000 to $5,000, well now a limo's picking him up, brother, and he's getting the suite because we're at 50% occupancy.
So this is a good thing to know, guys. Right now,
correct.
If you aren't going to Vegas or haven't over the years because you just have a couple grand and you see these guys with 20, 30, 40,000 walking in.
No. You post 5,000 right now in the cage. I'm meeting you at the cage. I'm picking you up. A room is our softest cost. So we're putting you in a room because I don't have events. Imagine the Raiders on a Monday Night Football. that $80 room would be $399. I don't have that now. And I don't have, Comdex is in town. I can't comp you. I don't have, Selena's reopening, so Caesars is full. No, we don't have shows. It's eat, drink, gamble. It's like the old days. So I do like it because not all the distractions. Like when I hosted your group at the Hard Rock, you were cool, and you and your degenerates played outside at the pool. We had swim up blackjack. So, but just think,
Randy Couture.
Randy Couture, UFC Hall of Famer. So just think, in a normal situation, I need 3 to 4 hours of play a day out of you, right? So you come and you go to the pool all afternoon, you're talking to girls and you're drinking, you're tired. Then you go to the Santana show, then you want a nice dinner. Then the girl wants to go to the nightclub. When are you going to gamble? I don't have any of that now. There are no pool parties. There are no nightclubs. It's eat, drink, gamble. So really, I like it because I don't have to worry about comping all the other stuff. But yeah, if you're a low roller right now, I'm rolling out the red carpet.
All you low rollers out there.
$2 to $5 grand at Steve Sear Vegas. Contact me, Instagram or Twitter.
Okay, before we go any further, I want to talk about this book.
Here comes the plug.
Yeah. Whale Hunt in the Desert. This is a fantastic book. It is all about this man's life. And I understand that this is even in like universities.
I've gotten so lucky. Anthony Curtis, another quote wise guy that I love.
Fantastic.
Well-known card counter. He's my publisher, and he came to me in 2003. This is the actually 3rd edition. And he said, hey, my grammar was too poor. I wrote a little synopsis. He goes, can I get a writer to follow you for a few months? Ended up being 2 years. And when Larry Flynt would come in, he would interview the whale, the dealer, the floorman, the girlfriend, the wife, and just my lifestyle. And then wrote about why people gamble, which the psychology of it's amazing. I'm probably about 60 to 70% of the book, a kid from Kansas. The next thing you know, I'm watching guys bet 50,000 a hand. And it's required reading at Cornell. I speak there twice a year, and NYU master's degree students, which is really funny. But that's the 3rd edition. It's been amazing. And yeah, please, if you're in town, I'll give you one. Just contact me at Steve Sear Vegas, because it's my pleasure. But on Amazon, it's been selling now. The 3rd book's outdone 1 and 2. So it's exciting.
You're giving one, especially if they're coming to book a room.
Yeah, exactly. Because then I earn, and I hope you win, because if you win, you bet more, you play longer.
All right, let's dispel the no more bullshit. I want you to tell me what is the deal with what side of it you want to be on. Tell our audience. Everyone believes that the casino host wants you to always get buried.
Correct.
Because they make more money.
Bullshit.
But that's not necessarily true.
Okay, so it depends on the jurisdiction. Right. So in Nevada, I legally cannot earn off of loss. So if you come in and blow 10 grand in 10 minutes, it doesn't help me, 1,000 a hand. My bonus is based on a theoretical loss, which I'm going to talk to you like you're in 5th grade, you've never been in a casino. If I bet $100 a hand and I bet an hour, I should win a couple bets an hour. That's 200 theoretical. I'm going to comp you 30% of that in comps. So you break even. You have a 10,000 theoretical. I owe you 3,000 in room, food, and beverage.
Now, it's important to know, a player can ask for their theoretical, right? If they're
correct, yeah. And
so
and when you get up
for 2 days, guys, and no one has told you, feel free.
Yeah, and here's another thing too: is even when you play slots, you're accumulating points. Well, that's based on your theoretical loss. So let's say Houston's playing blackjack for an hour, and I'm playing roulette. Well, and we both I'm betting 100 a spin and he's betting 100 a hand. My theoretical loss is going to be 2.5 times higher. Why? Because I'm playing more of a sucker game. For every 100,000 we drop, every $20 bill, $100 bill, $5 bill that we drop in blackjack, if we win or hold 14% or 14 grand, that's a great day.
Right.
100 grand drops, we win 14 grand. It doesn't. Some days we get our ass kicked. Some days we win. By the end of the year, that's our goal. So my job is to increase drop. Now, in roulette, for every 100,000 we drop, we win 25,000.
Now, what about slots where when the card goes in, say it's video poker, they know the winner loss?
Well,
time, right?
It depends. Not to get too complicated, but if you're playing jacks or better, and I'm playing double, or deuces, every game holds different. But you can buy books and you can play them perfect. On jacks or better, we only hold 0.5%. So again, he goes, well, I'm playing $5 a hand. Yeah, but you're grinding it out. Okay, so again, I got a drunk roulette player. I got a video poker player. I got one suite left. The roulette player gets it. More of a sucker. Okay, I know in blackjack, I'm going to win 14% of the drop. So my job as a host is to increase volume, increase drop, give the casino more chances to win.
Right.
Okay. So I want you to
Garden coming in doing 5 hands at a time in video poker at
well, of course. Oh no. I've got guys that play $100 video poker, 500 a hand, and they can blow 40 grand in a shift, no problem.
Yeah, I saw Garden win 750,000 over at Green Valley Ranch. It was a lot of fun.
My best weekend as a host, video poker wise, I had a guy who was 138,000 not too long ago. Then that was rare, but big.
I have a story on. I'm going to share a story with you on. It was a pretty big theoretical as well. This is one of my craziest gambling stories, and then I want you to top it.
Okay.
Because I know you'll be able to.
Maybe.
So, I was in Vegas. I was producing. I think season 2 of the Ultimate Blackjack Tour. Now we were in casinos. We licensed the game to casinos. So we were producing a show at the Venetian. So naturally, we had rooms at the Venetian. Now I don't normally gamble at the Venetian. It's a very nice hotel. I've been to some conventions there, but I thought
stiff.
I thought I'd give it a try, right? So night 1, and I'm there for like a week. Night 1, I'm already stuck, like damn near 300 grand.
Oh my God.
Okay, and I was playing all cash.
Oh.
So you know what you do when you're playing all cash? Where do I have markers?
Yeah. We call it rounders. Yeah.
So now luckily I went to the right place. I went to the place where I felt I always got lucky. Truth is, I knew at the Nugget, the way they spread the game, I had an advantage. Small one, the way they did their double deck.
But it's an advantage.
The way I negotiated a few things about being able to stop, move dealers, I went back and forth between 2 tables. At some point, we'll get into some of those things, but the more, that little bit of an edge that you can give yourself, it makes a big difference. So I go there the first night. I win 150,000.
So you're halfway out.
Halfway there, I come back to the strip, burn it all at the Venetian. Trying to get the rest of it back.
Such a degenerate.
The next night.
That's called greed. That's just greed, folks.
The next night, I am back to the Nugget. 110,000, not quite as good, but I'll take it. Get back. Do I go to bed? I don't go to bed.
I don't know if I can top this story. This is going to make me sick.
110,000. I go back the next night, 135,000. The 4th night I go and lost that. The 4th night I go back. And every time my buddy Sam was going with me. I used to have him put a napkin by the chips where I couldn't see him. And when I got to like 100 grand, he would let me know. Just $5,000 flags. But anyway, the 4th time I go back, I said, get my tables ready. I get in there. Here comes the CFO. Mr. Curtis, you're no longer welcome to play in this casino. What are you talking about?
Well, you can play dice. You can't play blackjack.
That's what I said.
Oh.
I said, well, I've got a marker here. I'll just play roulette or I'll play craps. No, you don't understand, Mr. Curtis. You have been playing here for 7 years and you have never lost in this casino. And we don't know what you're doing, but you can't play a slot machine in here. And I became one of 2 guys.
I mean, that's bullshit.
For life.
For winning.
And then I ended up meeting one of the guys from Texas corporate. When he heard my name, he's like, holy shit, you're one of 2 guys that we have banned for excessive winning. But here's the thing. The story gets better. So now I might know the other guy. I'm busted. You probably did. Now I'm busted. I go back and it's a Sunday night. I can't. It's right after midnight. I can't get access to any cash. I've got $100 left, literally down to my last $100 in cash on me. And I'm sitting there with my buddy Sam, who's been going back and forth on this little journey with me. I put 100 into the video poker machine in like 3 spins, royal flush, $7,500. Take it over to Caesar's Palace in an hour, run it up to 275,000.
Wow. I don't think I can top this story.
Payoff markers. And on my way out of town, I call up the host at the Venetian, who I had been losing cash money to for 4 nights straight. So what are you going to do for me? He's like, just come by the cage. Came by the cage and he gave me $15,000 in cash, and off I went. That was down to my last $10.
Wow.
So top that one.
Okay, I don't think I can top that one because I know you, and on another note, you could have called gaming. They can't just bar you for winning. Not at that point. Who cares? You can refuse service to anyone if you own a business.
I kept on until.
Did Tillman own it then?
Until he gave me a free dinner before I left. And he looked at me. He's like, "All right, feed him. Go feed him."
What year was that?
That was 2007.
So Timmy wasn't there.
2006. 2007.
Okay.
And I went back not long ago just to see, and it was like 3 or 4 phone calls, people coming down, and then they gave me like some parameters. They said, "Yeah, you can play. We just don't want you to have more than 10,000 on the table."
Table max. And maybe only 2 spots.
And they reserved the right to cut me off at any time. And I'm like, why would I do that?
I have friends that I like the nugget too, and I know Tillman's guy, Tillman Fertitta, they're in Houston now. Okay, so I have one. It's not that juicy, except I had a player, and he never would win. And, we do root for guys sometimes to win just because, the poor guy always, not huge numbers, 40,000, 50, well, it was a lot to him, 70,000. And one time he got a sizz, right? And he wins like 200 grand. So I said, look, please, I'm going to give you a check for 100 grand. I'm going to suspend your credit. He had 100 line. So the other 100 grand, I don't care if you go shopping, go to try to get laid, whatever, right. just have fun. Right. And he had a buddy with him, like your Sam, right? So that's what made me think of it. Right. So I FedEx that check back home to him. So when you go home, you got at least 100 grand.
Right.
So he loses that 100,000 and he's blowing up my phone and he wants more credit. And I said, no, we had a deal, man. You won. And other casinos gave him credit just like you. And he went, next thing you know, he's stuck about 400 grand. And that's like life changing for him. He's going to go BK, right? And I really believe him when he's like, I'm never going to gamble again. Well, Sam, every time he had the napkin too, he would tell Sam, take 1,000, take 1,000, take 1,000. Sam, I'd never seen gamble for years. And Sam had accumulated like 12 grand. So the gambler's asleep. Sam goes down to $1,000 table. It was 1,000 to 20,000. This is at Caesar's Palace. And plays blackjack and runs it up to about 400 grand and wakes him up and says, I'm going to go pay your markers off if you promise never to gamble again or reduce your line. And he did, and got the guy out.
Wow.
He got the guy out. So all the casinos are now offering him stuff because I know is you came in, you blew 100 and paid it. You blew 100 and paid. So it's just like a credit card. You pay it off.
Right.
And so we did what's called a self-limit letter. That's another tip if you're a complete degenerate. We had casino owners before, a self-limit letter, and I've suggested that for the Raiders, actually. So you're the quarterback. I don't want you drunk at 3 a.m. and blowing 400 grand. I never want more than 50,000. And you can't just come in and say, oh no, rip it up. Here's my driver's license. Yeah. No, an attorney has to be involved. You can't do it at 3 a.m. Right. So we did it. We gave him self-limit letters of like 25,000 with the others. And I still have him as a customer today, and he still brings his Sam. So that's a pretty cool story because 400 grand to him, he was ready to jump off Caesars. The moral of
this is make sure you find your own Sam.
Yeah, exactly. but it's a good story on how you can take a little bankroll and run it up. I think the problem is people want to bet more when they're behind. We call it chasing.
Yeah, chasing.
I bet $10. Oh, I've lost 8 hands. I need to push 100 up. No, you don't.
And as a host, you've had to see more chasing than any.
Press when you have our money. Even though I know when you win it, it's your money. But when you have our money, press. And then set a goal. I tell people, look, here's the number one mistake of gamblers, to me, Houston, is they try to take $100 and win 1,000. Take 1,000 and win 100. When was the last time you made 10% in one day in your stock portfolio? Right. That's Larry Flynt's strength, his bankroll. He'll risk $1 million to win a few hundred grand, but he has eat like a bird, shit like a moose syndrome. He's happy to win 100 grand, but when he loses, it's 2 million.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now, fortunately for Vegas, the average traveler, that's just coming through, I've heard this a million times, and I never say anything, but it always just cracks me up. It'll be friends or like soccer moms are going, and I brought $1,000 I can lose.
Oh yeah. No. How about this? This happens to me almost weekly for the last 30 years. Hey, Houston, you about ready to go to dinner? Because maybe we have Benihana reservation, and it's like 5 to. Yeah, as soon as I lose this, right? Maybe it's $80 or $800. Yeah, as soon as I lose it, or as soon as there's not Velcro. You don't have to wait till the end of the shoe. The dealer, you're not insulting.
I mean, what a business! What a business!
Yeah.
You open a casino and then you let Middle America come in, and they come.
My favorite line. Well, we're drinking for free. You had an $80 Budweiser. I had a $130 rum and Coke. Well, he comped my room. Well, on Expedia it was $89, but you lost $700. He gave me fight tickets that were $300 each, and you blew $8,000. It's smoke and mirrors.
Definitely is, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a cost of entertainment. I mean, for every bad story, there's 100 great stories. I mean, in Vegas...
You grew up with Benny, right?
Yes.
So, for those of you who don't know who we're talking about, Benny Binion, I guess he's the son of... Grandson
of Benny, correct.
And, I mean, there's probably no one more legendary than Jack Binion and the whole, Binion family. The one story that I always remember from Binion's... See, back in those days, it was Jack, right?
It was Benny. It was Benny, but it was Grandpa. It wasn't, but Jack was there too. And so I repped there in would have been like 2003, and our rule still was your first bet your max. Because what happens? A guy comes in and he wins. He goes, I want to bet 20,000 a hand. Well, yeah, because you won 30,000. Now you want to be a big fish. Your first bet your max. You just got off the plane. You come in. Hey, Houston, you want to bet 50,000 a hand?
So if a guy comes in and says, I want to bet $1 million.
First bet. And I had a player do that, and he wanted to bet 100,000 a hand, and he did his first bet and he lost it. Then he went back to like 5,000 because he only brought like 300. He just wanted to be able to do it. So when he had it, first bet your max.
All right. So the great story. And
that's true. That totally happened all the time.
Here's a fun question. How many bodies have you helped bury in the desert?
0. But I'm embarrassed to tell you how many people, unfortunately, the bad side have gone bankrupt, or, I lose a third of my customers every year in Houston because they're broke, they're sick of gambling, or they're sick of Steve. The third one doesn't happen often, but it happens. So a third of my players are so wealthy, Montel, Michael Jordan, Larry Flynt, doesn't matter. Win or lose $1 million is not going to change your life. The other third should not be here, but they're the funnest. But they should not be here. They're gambling above their means. And the other third, as their age and wealth increases, their gaming increases. My biggest player now that brings $5 million every few months used to bring $50,000. And he's my age. So I met him when he was 21. As his age and wealth and business increased, his gambling increased. Now 50,000 is his first bet.
Yeah. So
you want to groom them.
Someone who probably has done very well in business and probably break even over the years, or a little loser, but not
correct. Very disciplined, and people gamble for the perks and the VIPs. The star is.
If you're losing $5,000, but you've been comped,
You didn't wait in line. I walked you in. You got to go meet Santana. You brought a guitar. He signed it. You got the picture taken. I mean, it's, some people would rather take $5,000 or $10,000 and go to Hawaii and sit on the beach. Some would rather come and go to a UFC fight with me.
Yeah,
I
hear you there.
I mean, you brought your boys, right? We had the cabana at the pool, all the girls.
We had the best time ever. You had us in the bowling alley suite.
Yeah. By the way, if you can't get laid in the bowling alley suite, you can't get laid.
Right?
I mean, So there's a bowling alley right in the middle of the suite. Yeah, it's fun.
I'm as soon as the ball comes down, threw my finger back. I tried to not show it the whole time I was there. But the guy in Binion's who had every flag, you know the story?
He had every $5,000 check.
Every $5,000.
Yeah, and he started with a low bankroll too. Archie.
This is a legendary story.
I know him, never hosted him, but know him. He knows me. Yeah, Archie.
But what got me about it is, I mean, it was millions, right?
Yeah.
It was like in the millions. He lost everyone. Lost it all back. And
He didn't really, he won it, but really they were just holding his money. I have some players that way. You might win 50,000 this week, but you're just holding my money. You can't help yourself. If you would have taken it and bought a home or that, and I have people that do that, they get a score and they go buy something. Or I even do it. If I'm out, hey, I'm up $2-3 grand. Next thing you know, I'm taking my daughter. We're doing a little fun trip or something. I want to get something for it. So at least I can show it.
That way you know that you can't lose that.
Correct. Or at least I get to use it.
Right.
You know, but yeah, the story is Archie had, you know, every check. Every check.
He was just obsessed with, he wanted them all and he got every one of them in the casino.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was a great story. Are there a couple of tricks that players, smart players, maybe advanced players have tried to pull over on hosts?
Over the years, you know, a lot of guys think it's on buy-in still. They'll buy in for $2 grand at the dice table and they'll place some numbers and then they pick up and then they go the other side of the casino. We know everything. We know how many checks are, I call checks, but
sure.
we know how many chips are on the game. We know when you walk. Remember, the eye in the sky can see the time on your watch. I mean, it just makes you look like an asshole. Don't do it.
Start with a 300.
Change in 300.
300. Do you have anything smaller?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do, but this happens to be a $100 minimum bet table. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at one of our lower stakes tables.
Okay, stop reminder.
Try to buy in big and that. And then a lot of times guys will wire in. I'm going to wire in 100,000. And we have what's called central credit, which is like the TRW of gaming. I talk about this in my book. I know that most of you have ever lost is $7 grand. I mean, I had one guy that loved to wire in $250,000. And if he lost 10,000, he'd cry for 3 weeks. Just because you wire in money, I'd rather have a construction worker with $5 grand that's giving me a shot at that $5 grand.
Right.
You know what I mean? So don't ask for a big, just because you have a big Visa credit line. I want what you'll gamble to. And I always tell customers this, what are you comfortable writing me a check for if you lose it? Because after 30 days, it's a felony in Nevada. Remember, casino credit, I can go after you in Nevada, not in California.
Yeah, this is something that's important to know. Because,
it's a real...
It became a huge thorn in my side because I had no clue. And Nevada is the only state in the nation that can arrest you over a debt.
It's criminal. I'll tell you a quick story, and this just happened in Beverly Hills about 3 months ago. I had a cool customer. She's wonderful, known her for years, and she owed $4,000, 4 $1,000 markers. Now, for that, we have a whole check fraud division at Nevada Gaming Control Board. And I called her and I said, look, after 6 months, those markers go stale. Send me $200 a month, but send me something. She blew me off, right? After 6 months, I have to send them to the DA. Now, they won't go pick her up for $4 grand because they're going after people that owe $4 million, right?
Right.
She's got her 6-year-old in the back, speeding. Boo! Speeding ticket. Oh, bench warrant out in the state of Nevada. Kid goes to child protective custody. This is a Thursday. She goes to LA County Jail for 2 days and extradited to Nevada 4 days more on a bus.
Which is how.
Okay, then we add 10 to 15%. She paid it, then gets out. Every marker is 4 months in jail. If you pay it, they'll usually just drop that part. But I mean, now her kid's been in child protective services for a week, over $4 grand. Okay, yeah. But we will work with you. I can't tell, send me $500 a month. Just put effort in and then they don't go stale. And we can't take it to the DA if you're making some payments. But if you blow us off, you're toast.
What you don't want to be is in LA County Jail being told to come back to the bathroom to vote in the new leader of the white faction. And your choices are a guy named Hillbilly or a guy named Dirtbag. You do not want that to happen.
Yeah, no.
Because that's what happened. I voted for Dirtbag because some of this was right next to me. And apparently that was the wrong card. He lost. and then was drug out of there at 4 a.m. by LAPD, who beat him within an inch of his life, and had a shank in his bed, like,
Damn.
a mile long, which I was later told was planted there because he disrespected Hillbilly. Hillbilly had seniority and he shouldn't have ran against him. When Mad Dog got the jump, Mad Dog was the leader who, all this shit went down over a friggin' weekend of not even knowing I had the DA had a hold of a marker. I thought I was still talking to Joey over Green Valley Ranch.
And Station Casinos is famous for no tolerance, which, I work with players, especially if we've made money off a player. I mean, the Terry Watanabe story, that was millions.
I mean, I've been on the Fertitta Brothers private jet. I've had lunch with them.
Yeah.
So it was a little.
But we got through it.
We got through it.
Yeah, I remember you called me for advice, actually. So that's good. I've testified in a lot of those, and we will work with you. It's not that bad, but casino credit's a real thing. I mean, it's now in California, they can only drug you civilly. Your TRW. So unfortunately, that's why California casinos stopped giving big credit. Is a couple $1 million players. Don't want to say the name. Succumbto went to Verona, lost $3 million, and said, "What are you going to do about it?"
Wow.
Yeah, that's why they cut back everything. Yeah, that really happened.
So let me ask you this. I've been, around Advantage Play my whole life. And I know you are familiar with a lot of Advantage players. And I have some friends who are the guys who they've figured out how to clock, get all the comps, be treated like the whale, and they've gone in for years. And
unfortunately now with BetTrack and all the software,
how tough is it for these guys to do this?
It's getting tougher every day. And so a lot of my Advantage players have gone to Indian casinos or Baha Mar or the Atlantis, where they're not as sophisticated, to be honest. But I'm telling you, Vegas, man, they're counting down everything and that software now, and we pretty much know. And I, as a host, of course, I'm on theoretical. So I just want action. I love Advantage players because you play so long. You got to play 10 hours to grind it out, right? And my commission, I don't care if you get overcomped. Yeah, give them the suite, give them that. So I'm on the house's side, but not really. So it's getting really tough, and so the casinos like that. I try to avoid the wise guys as I've gotten older, just because it's not worth the hassle. Yeah. It really isn't for me, the employee. It's just not worth it. But because for every one of those, I have 10.
Have you ever had a guy that hustled you that had you convinced he was just a shtuck?
yeah. I've had I would say probably 10 good guys that convinced me they were on the square. And they weren't. And when I finally had to go up to surveillance with my tail between my legs, I'm like, Steve, look. And he was good too. And he would even lose. He would have some losing sessions, but never losing trips. He was not greedy. He was very patient, and he would go down and have a session where he would always still play correctly, but just not enough. And he'd vary his bet just enough to make it look like, oh, fuck it, I need some more, But by the end of the trip, he was good. He's really good. I compliment. We're still friends. Look, it's not illegal. We just reserve the right, know.
Right. Matter of fact, I found most casinos probably welcome your average counter because those guys are going.
Look, okay. In my 34-year career, I've had 10 guys that took me. I've had over 1,000 that said, I'm a counter, bring it on. But how did you not win? Oh, the card just, they think they can count, but they can't.
I was with Mike Baxter one night. Mike, you may have seen him play. He plays on the late night poker.
Yeah.
The exec producer knew me, and he came to our game once, the game I had with Toby, and Mike played in our game. He's a hedge fund guy, big player. And we were in Vegas all playing, and Mike had told me that he was a counter. And he said, I used to be very good. Now, I had no reason not to believe him because he ran a
sharp numbers guy,
Dude, I lost every goddamn hand. It was real simple. I was making the big bet. I mean, we look like a couple of jokers when you look back at it. Every time he made a bet,
if he went from $15 to $25,
I would increase my
right.
And I did not win one hand with this guy in 2 hours.
Now, were you trying to count with him?
He was scratching his head, and he's like, I know it's the count's gotta work for us. I said, hey, Mike, I'm gonna go back to playing $5,000 a hand, and I'll see you tomorrow. I went back to playing $5,000 a hand. I was up like playing 50,000 in like 20 minutes, and then I went to bed. But yeah, I just sit there for 2 hours losing 14, 15 grand with him.
Well, I can tell when a guy is going to be sharp or not. My average player calls and says, what show's in town? What kind of suite can you get me? And can I get the booth at the club? And I'm going to need 10 for dinner. The wise guy calls me and says, can I split aces 4 times? Can I double down after a split? How much do I get in promo chips up front? Which remember, we only win a bet or two an hour. So if I give you 10,000 in promos, I just gave you like 4 hours of play. You get to the point where he's never going to have to reach into his pocket, in theory.
Yeah.
So players don't understand that. So I can tell when, oh man, this is going to be a grind.
Yeah.
I want a guy to come and have a good time and gamble.
Yep.
I want the guy to care about the suite. When a guy's like, yeah, stick me in any broom closet, I don't care.
That's how I used to be. I when I went to World Series 2004, I wanted to be in the closest room
to the elevator.
Yeah. I didn't. They put me in the handicap room. I didn't give a shit. And I won $250,000 that trip at blackjack. Me and Betsy Superfund, the woman who started the 900 number business.
Oh, yeah,
We were playing together. I got all the way down to my last 7,000, and Betsy rallied with me. She's like, you're going to get it all back, Houston. Got it all back, went home, bought my wife a new Mercedes, paid cash for it.
See, good man. All right, okay, I've got a quick story for you about Super Bowl in the Barona. So in the Barona, I get 10% of loss. So I hope you win in Nevada, lose there. It's different. In California, they can pay me based on loss. You don't have to be a licensee. Totally different laws. And that was smart because do I send wise guys there? Advantage players? No, because I only get, you go there and win, I get 0. Okay? So I have a $2 million player that I've been working on for years. And this was when the Raiders played Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl in San Diego. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I'd worked on him for 2 years. Mr. R, we'll call him. I finally got him. I had a challenger pick him up, his kids and everything. Barry Sanders played golf with him one day on the golf course, and he brought John Elway with him, the Hall of Fame quarterback. Mm-hmm. So I got all these people. They're there 4 days, and he's playing, 10,000 a hand, 20,000 a hand, on $2 million. You got to be really unlucky. But every day he'd lose like 200,000 too. So it's about 3 hours before the Super Bowl we're going. So it's in that morning. And now he's betting like 50,000 and he's like, fuck it. He's down $1.9 million. He has 50,000 out and he gets a double down. And he doubled down on like 9, again, not against a 10, but like 9 against a 9. It wasn't. So he loses this hand, $2 million. I get 200 grand. I mean, I'm literally in my mind calling my realtor saying, okay, I want to pay off the one house and then I'm going to order I'm spending the money in my mind, right? John Elway, who's a stiff, is betting 1,000 a hand. He put up 100 grand, right? 100 or 1,000 a hand, right? He is down to like 94,000, okay? Mr. R wins that double down, okay? So he gets 100 grand. He goes over to Elway and says, bet more, you pussy. He doesn't lose a hand. He wins 3.6. So he goes from -2 to up 1.6. I literally threw up in the trash can in the room right behind high limit. I couldn't believe it. I had worked 2 years. I'm one hand away. Now we're going to the game. He's so happy and everything. And he stiffs me like, come on, you just won $1.6 million. Throw your host 10 or 20 grand or something, right? He's got his tickets from Caesars. He's selling them out the window because I had got him the skybox and everything. He had bet everything on Tampa Bay. They won. It was like, for him, God bless him, greatest trip of his life. He's down to his case bet. He wins that, all the markers back, and another $1.6 million, and then after the game he flies home. And that's really what most people need to do, to be honest. They need to break even. Like if a guy wins Friday, he's writing me a check by Sunday. They need to break even, and 2 hours before the limo's taking him to the airport, win. So then they go home with it. to be honest. You know what I mean? He needed to just grind out and then at the end win, and it was perfect for him. So anyway.
Yeah, my early 20s, the first time I won like over $5,000 in Vegas. My buddy Steve, he held it. He wouldn't give it back to me.
Good.
Until we got past Whiskey Pete's.
That's state line. Yeah.
And I imagined it the whole time. I'm like, give me that money. We're gonna stop at Whiskey. No.
Oh no.
When we got past Whiskey Pete's, he gave it to me, and I was so happy.
Well, I like I said, like when I FedExed that guy that check, he got home. He had $100,000. Yeah, you have to do it. It's just human nature.
So let me one more time. So so Whale Hunt in the Desert, Secrets of a Vegas Superhost, this guy. This is in its, how many editions is this?
This is the 3rd edition. I got my first hardback deal in 2004 and then paperback deal in 2009, and this is 2016.
So if you've bought the first one, what's the reason?
Well, new stories. Obviously, in the first one, Vegas could do no wrong. You know what I mean? We were imploding the landmark, the dunes. We were rebuilding Vegas. Then we had the recession, 08, 09, and now the corporations have kind of taken over. You know, I'd love to say as a casino host, we have the power we used to. The bean counters now at some places. Here's one good thing about COVID. Before COVID, even at Caesars, remember you'd sit down, you buy in for $20, hey, I need a beer. You'd have to play, and then it prints you out a ticket for your free damn comp beer. I hate that. Billboards now, we're bragging, we pay 3-2 blackjack. I mean, it's really gotten bad. I saw a roulette wheel the other day, Houston, that had 1 0, 00, and a 000, 3 greens. It's unbelievable. You know, we've gotten so bad. As far as me, I give the guys a fighting shot. Let them split aces more than once. Let them double down on any 2 cards. It's crazy. So one good thing about COVID is the liberal rules are back. And we don't charge you for parking anymore. And you sit down and we think you might have $3. Hey, can I get you a drink? It's made us more service-minded because we need it. You know, we got a little arrogant when I say we, Vegas, you know, over the years, charging it for everything. Then the resort fee, the room's $20, but the resort fee is $50.
The resort fee was really okay.
Well, it's just because we don't have to pay tax on that. The room's really $70, but on that $50, we don't. The resort fee. Right. It's December and the resort fee's for the pool. You know, I mean.
Very cool, man. Well, where can people get the book?
Amazon.com is where most people buy the book. If you're in Vegas, Huntington Press has a million books on how to play blackjack, how to play advantage video poker. You know, they have a lot of cool books. Doing
a segment on Anthony and Las Vegas Advisor.
Las Vegas Advisor is great. You know, but I love people email me if you want good barbecue, you know, or if you want to know the best strip club to go to or that.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll have all your information on the screen.
Yeah, cool.
So just look down here or up there,
or right here.
Right here.
Yeah.
And that's where he'll be. So one other question. We have just rolled into town. I have a bag of cash and I want to play as high as I can with the least amount of hassle and questions. What casino are we at?
Probably Circa, because Derek Stevens, an individual that is a high roller gambler, owns it. And we still have to do our paperwork. I've got to, you know, you can't just go to the table and throw out $50,000. I mean, I need your identification. I have to do the proper paperwork for the great government. But he will work with you and give you limits. And if you want to bet a lot on a sports game, so because he's a gambler, if you try to call Caesars, their hosts are going to be wimps and not really know what to do. Same thing with Venetian. I love it, beautiful, but they're not going to know what to do. MGM, forget about it. Okay, it's just too corporate. Okay, you're going to need an individual like Derek Stevens. Call me first, because obviously I want to earn on it, and I will help negotiate the best deal for you, because I have the strength to say, look, I work for 9 casinos. Derek, you know, I'm going to take him to Caesars, because Caesars will do this. So at least I have some leverage.
I have not met Derek yet, but I have heard nothing but good things about this guy. I hear he's great for Vegas.
When you're there, we will go have a beer with him.
Are going to be running their show from
Beeson is moving from South Point to Circa, and that's going to have a 4-story sports book. I'm excited for Circa because it's a gambling house. It's not another Celine Dion bullshit. Circa's where I want to be.
So you heard it here. If you're going to Vegas and you want to pound it, listen to this man. If you're going to Vegas and you need to squeak by, listen. And one way or the other, he will get you there. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Steve.
It's good.
Great to see
Good
you,
luck
buddy.
with your channel.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. We'll have you on again. See you guys. Remember, stay sharp, stay card sharp.
Card sharp.